Hey y'all, Bear here. It's Tuesday and it's camp soup time. That's right, camp soup. It's gorgeous winter weather we're having here in South Carolina and it's perfect for soup. So today we're going to do pasta fagioli. That's right, I saw Lidia Batianich's recipe, saw her video on it, and she probably had the simplest, straightforward pasta fagioli I saw. And so that's what we're going to utilize for a conversion for camp cooking. I've simplified it with some dry ingredients. I'm going to keep the fresh garlic though. But if you wanted to tote it down the trail, you can sub in the dry stuff. But I think the fresh garlic will just take this little camp meal just up and over the notch a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. I'm already warming up some water and we should start cooking. Let me give you a rundown real quick of her ingredients. We have the salt that I forgot, so no salt today. Olive oil, flour, tomato powder, garlic, rosemary, crushed red pepper, ditalini noodles, and northern beans. Now I took my northern beans and I crushed some, about a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons worth. I crushed them up because she took some of her beans and ground them to thicken the soup a little. We're going to make a roux with the flour that'll also help thicken the soup. But you know, this is just a base and a starting place. There's tons of stuff you can do with this. I saw a lot of people that utilized a carrot, onion, celery start for their soup. So you could throw in a tablespoon of the old Harmony House vegetable soup mix and do that. This is a perfect place to add in your shelf-stable meats if you want additional protein versus just the beans. Also, if you want to keep it vegetarian, dried spinach or kale, whatever your dried leafy green is, would be awesome in this. But this is a simple base and you can do what you want with it. Let's cook it up. Alright, so we're going to start off with a little bit of olive oil and the garlic. Now, I personally don't think it would be that big a deal to tote a clove of garlic with you to camp to enhance your meal. But like I said, you do the dried garlic if you want. So I'm just going to do little thin slices of my garlic today. Lydia suggests you use warm water, so we've preheated that. Now we're going to get our olive oil going. Alright, oil's starting to get hot. So we're going in with the garlic. Now if you didn't want to eat the garlic, at this point you could pull that. It's flavored the oil. But I'm going to leave it in there. Garlic's anti-inflammatory, and that's probably a pretty good thing to have out on the trail hiking. And we're going to add some flour and create our roux. And generally when we make a roux, you want like equal parts of flour to oil or butter. Now once we get kind of that, you see that? Once we get kind of that golden brown, we're going to add just a touch of our warm water. And you see how thick that is? So see, that roux is going to be a thickener for our soup. Let's go ahead and get the rest of our water in. I've got about 1.5 cups. I'm going to add in my crushed beans, let them start hydrating and act as a thickener also. Alright, I'm going to add in my tomato powder and let that start dissolving. I tell you, I'm really starting to like this Harmony House tomato powder as a product. We'll get in a few of the crushed red pepper flakes. You know, however spicy you want to make it. That's up to you. And how about some of our rosemary? Now we'll just let that start to cook for a little bit. Let those flavors develop. I was poking around in my little food tote and I realized that I had this packet of grated Parmesan cheese. So in lieu of the salt that I forgot, I'm going to dump this in. It's got some salt in it It's going to add a little bit of nuttiness and add a little bit of that salt that we're missing. That's one of the really important things when it comes to camp cooking is we make a plan, but it's just that, it's a plan. We forget stuff, things don't always do quite correctly, so you just got to be able to improvise. Roll with the punches a little bit. We're going to let that continue to cook for about another 3 minutes, and then I'm going to add the beans. We've given the soup base, I don't know, about 12 minutes to get a head start developing flavors, and now we're going to go in with 1/4 cup of the Harmony House dried beans. And we'll let these start cooking and hydrating up for a few minutes before we add the pasta. Maybe we'll give them a 5-minute head start. Y'all, my fuel canister is running out of fuel, so I'm gonna swap out to a sterno that I had handy, and we'll finish cooking with it. Here we go. Sterno on. We came to a boil. We've been cooking now for, I don't know, 10 or 12 minutes, getting the beans softened up, letting all the flavors develop. Let's get the ditalini in, and then it's got to cook for about another 10 minutes. So I've got about 1/3 of a cup of ditalini. Now I will say that every couple minutes I do need to go in here and just give the bottom a little scrape as I'm boiling off the pasta, just to keep it from sticking. Ooh, nice little preview off the spatula. So our pasta's been cooking for 10 minutes. Let's pour this guy up and eat. And one thing I'll say is I probably could have started off with 2 cups of water and still had a pretty good soup base, because I've had a lot of water cook off and absorb here. We are almost to a stew now instead of a soup. But that's okay, because I like stews. It's gonna be a, can you see down in there? Come on, camera. Lighten up for the, there you go. Auto adjust, auto adjust. Ooh, steam coming out of there. There's gonna be some cleanup. Man, what an incredible start to some really neat soups. I mean, you can take this simple recipe and just run with it. Do whatever you want. Meat it up, vegetable it up, thin it out, thicken it up, but let's eat it. You know, this is a perfect one for doing by the campfire. Just let it slowly cook. Oh, heck yeah. Man, that's awesome. Look at here. Soup's perfect this time of year at camp, and we'll see you on the trail.